Welcome to the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. You can catch us Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific on FS1. Here's what this podcast is all about. It's an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the day's show, and there is a lot to get into in today's podcast. Skip calls out Shannon for his bet with Nelly as last night's Cavs comeback, fueled by the Kings' triple-double, cost Shannon a steak dinner. The NFL schedule is out, and Skip calls it an 11-5 record with another NFC East title for his Cowboys, but Shannon says we might see a sophomore slump for Dak. The man behind our theme song, Lil Wayne, is in the house to speak on his Packers, Dez Bryant, and bad news for Shannon as he gives us his MVP pick. Plus, we welcome in Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard to add some perspective on what LeBron did last night. Shannon, I see you have the bow tie on today.
So, are we trying to distract the audience from what happened on yesterday's show when somebody jumped off the Kings bandwagon?
No.
Now he's back on the Kings
Nope.
bandwagon. He's wearing the Kings colors.
Skip, I bet Nelly a dinner
Yes.
at a nice restaurant
We're
here.
about to get into that.
Okay.
You can just save it for the show.
No. Are you going to say anything?
I like the shirt, though. Starched white.
I don't know, your outfit looks the same as it usually does.
That's true. I see it.
You going to mention it?
We're not distracted.
I think we're just not going to acknowledge it. We're just going to pretend like it's not happening.
Yeah, I see you looking.
Where did you get it, is what I want to know.
A good friend of mine sent it to me.
From Akron?
It really represents your objectivity.
I'm objective. I mean, how did LeBron know I was going to wear brown?
I don't know.
How did he know? Because this outfit is picked out a week in advance. So how did he know?
Well, I think he overnighted it to you to shame you for yesterday, right?
I can't believe you didn't hold on that to the finals.
No, I got something
You have
really
something extra
special for the finals.
Does it like spin or something? Can't wait.
The jacket might be calves.
Coming up later in the show, Lil Wayne will be here, but we have to start with the historic comeback by the Cavs. They overcame a 25-point halftime deficit, the largest in playoff history, to beat the Pacers last night. LeBron had a triple-double with 41 points, and in a coach's decision, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love sat the entire fourth quarter. Let's take a listen to Tyronn Lue and LeBron after the game.
I don't know, man. I just try to put myself in position to help my teammates win, and no matter who on the floor with me, I try to empower them. I try to make them better. Try to make them believe that we can be great every night, no matter who's on the floor with me. And for myself, I just don't settle for being not as great as I can be. And it's not gonna result in a stat line like this every night, you know. But my mind is where my mind is. When my mind is fresh and when my mind is in the moment, then sometimes certain things like this happen. So I don't know. I can't even really appreciate it. I'll let you guys kind of write your words about it and go from there. But the only thing that matters is the win, and that's what I'm here for.
LeBron willed us in. You know, he willed us home. I think 41, 12, and 13, you know, and played the whole second half, you know, and that's what playoff basketball is all about. You know, you got to be willing to sacrifice and lay it on the line, you know, to win a game, and that's what he did for us.
Skip, how impressive was LeBron last night?
I had so much fun last night. I cannot tell you how much fun I had because LeBron James was hilariously impressive last night. That was my all-time favorite LeBron James game because, number one, I said that the Cavs would sweep the Pacers, which they will. And number two, and far more important, my man Shannon Sharpe bet against his man LeBron James on yesterday's show, saying that he would lose one of these two games in Indiana. Am I correct about that?
You're very correct.
And last night had to be that game. And it looked like at halftime it was going to be that game. And I pictured my man Shannon Sharpe up in his swanky pad up on Wilshire with his feet up on the desk.
Don't tell everybody where I live.
There are a million places up there. I don't think they're going to be able to pin yours down. But feet up on desk, I don't want to put mine up, but you always put yours up with no socks. Just sitting back, imagining that menu at Mastro's in Beverly Hills where it's the bet with Nelly, obviously. Yep. And you know, Nelly, I can't remember what you said you're going to order or what you ordered last time.
I got the tomahawk.
Tomahawk,
long bone.
yeah, there it was. The tomahawk. So you're thinking, I got me a tomahawk. And then LeBron started tomahawk dunking in the second half, didn't he?
Yep.
And what happened was that LeBron came out in the third quarter and basically went Mount Rushmore on Shannon's lack of faith in him. I loved it because LeBron James obliterated LeShannon's bet against him by going for 28 in the second half, 13 in the third quarter, 15 in the fourth quarter. And I was thinking about LeShannon, oh, ye of little faith. Your king is a vengeful king, and he taught you a lesson last night. Don't ever bet against the king. Am I right, LeShannon? Yes,
something like that.
Something like that. And the greatest irony of the night was that the worst three-point shooter in NBA history, statistically, that's LeBron James, went three-point crazy. It was rare, but it was right on time against LeShannon because LeBron made 6 out of 12 threes. It got so bad in the third quarter, he was doing one of these. Ooh, did you see him? Ooh, like he was shocking himself. I'm hot, man. Give me the ball, I'm hot.
That one he hit from Carmel.
Woo!
You
Wow.
know, you ever been to Carmel, Indiana? I went there once. I had an appearance I had to do. Awesome place. Go ahead, Skip.
So in the end, it had to be the bittersweetest night for LeShannon Sharpe ever having to watch a LeBron James game. And I must admit, I loved every sweet second of that second half. Way to go, LeBron. I was with you, big man. I had faith.
I
You didn't have any
I
faith.
love what you tried to do, Skip Bayless.
I'm not trying to do anything. That's exactly what it was.
When you was talking, I did interrupt you.
Oh.
And I called my sister last night after the game, and she was upset, talking about, Shannon, why you calling me this time of night? You make me think something wrong. I said, did you see King? She talking about, no. And she said, I tell you, and tomorrow, Shannon, don't be cutting up giving Skip a hard time, because when Skip win, he doesn't throw it all up in your face. I said, do you want your stipend at the end of the month?
I won. I won. I said it was going to be a sweep.
Hold on, Skip. She told me, don't be going, Shannon. I know how you are. Because when Skip win, he doesn't do all the things you do to him. I said, do you want your stipend at the beginning of the month? She said, tear his tail up, baby brother. So that's exactly what I'm going to.
Seems like your sister likes Skip a little
She does.
more.
She a hater, too. Kind of like you. Skip, my grandfather used to say, boy, just because the wind isn't blowing doesn't mean a storm isn't coming.
He said that.
Yeah. And I didn't know what he meant, Skip. But every time somebody does a little something, oh, Reggie Miller, get at your boy. You got my number. LeBron says he forgive you for speaking such blasphemy. Every time somebody does something in the moment, they're better than King James. Kawhi had 37. Oh, he better than the King. Russell Westbrook averaged a triple-double. He's better than the King. James Harden, what about Russell? PER is the stat, Joy. You know, I like that, like the QBR and quarterback. Oh, PER.
Would LeBron finish like 5th in the league? Not that great.
You got words to say after what he did last night? Down 25. And I know what you were thinking. You were hoping you were right. You were hoping I was right because you could come in and talk about how bad LeBron shot. It's funny. You know what I find amazing, Skip? What's so funny about this whole situation is that the worst three-point shooter in the history of the playoffs is now number 3 in three-pointers made in the playoffs. And when it's all said and done...
We'll see how long that lasts.
Whoa, Skip. Skip, it's my turn. Thank you. I just knew if I said, LeBron, Skip, you know Grace Jones? You ever heard of her? Her song, Pull Up to My Bumper, Baby, in your long black limousine. I knew if LeBron could get close.
View to a kill. That's what you got to...
Skip.
Hey, come on.
Now, hold on. In your mirror, you got that nice little shiny car there, and everybody says it's so shiny with the burgundy interior. When you look at the side mirror, what does it say in the side mirror?
Objects appear closer.
Oh, 25. But you didn't realize just how close LeBron was to this historic comeback when he was 25 points down. Hold on, wait a minute. I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this moment all my life. Skip. LeBron James is not only the best player in the NBA, no, is not the best player according to you. He's not the best player in the NBA. He's not even the best player on his own team. That belongs to Unc Drew. LeBron James is not a closer. LeBron James is Mr. Third Quarter. Kyrie Irving, what you call it, Unc? He's the closer. For the people at home that did not watch the game last night and does not have the stat sheet, how many minutes in the fourth quarter did Kyrie Irving play, Skip Bayless?
0.
In the fourth quarter, how many minutes did Kevin Love play, Skip Bayless?
0. Keep going. Tristan. Keep going. JR. Keep going.
Why you interrupted me, Skip? That's so
No, you're asking me and I'm answering a question.
I asked you one question.
Did he not ask
You did ask a question.
I asked one question. I didn't ask you to continue on.
But I'm an A student, so I give the full answer.
No,
question,
I'm not
right?
calling on you anymore. You one of those.
Yeah.
I see you one of those kind
Teacher's
of students.
pet?
Yeah. She asked
Yeah.
you one thing and you talk. Oh, I read the whole book, Miss Kicklighter. Oh, you're making me so upset. But here's the thing.
I made 1 B in high school.
Skip.
Driver's ed, because they didn't give A's.
That's why you can't beat me when I get that Hellcat out here. But that's neither here nor there. Skip. Everybody was feeling so good about themselves. You see Lance Stevenson, this our house. Let me up my jacket because I would get my hands up. This our house.
He put a word in the middle to,
Yeah.
amplify the.
And LeBron ran by him and said, "You right, Lance. This is your house because you paying me rent." He say, "You know
Did he say that?
When I send my school to private,
I did not hear that.
When I send them 3 kids to private school, you paying for Conseco.
Oh, he said that
this
to
my
Lance
house.
on
yeah,
the
yeah,
court.
yeah.
I didn't read that.
He said, you know that fifth home I got in Cabo? You paying for that, Lance?
Okay.
Renting this. He said, you know that yacht I got? He got a yacht too, Skip, in the south of France. Oh, you ought to go on it sometime, Skip.
Tell me when it's my turn.
It's not your turn yet. Skip. Paul George hit a 3. He bouncing down the court. Everybody's so happy in the first half. Because, see, this is what happens when you're a role player and you're at home. The crowd gives you energy. It was just raging. And LeBron said, I got him right where I want him.
Oh, he was doing this, right?
Hey, Skip. Oh, he said, Miles Turner. King, may I get a layup in here? No. And then what happened, Skip, the third quarter? He hit one from Carmel. Remember I told you I did
Carmel, Indiana, yes.
Yeah, I did.
Went
And
in a
then he hit one, Skip, from Terre Haute. You know what's in Terre Haute, Indiana? The federal pen. Did you see the movie Captain Phillips? You know those Somali pirates? That's where they are, Skip. Doing 33 in the third year. How do you know that? Never mind. But he hit that one from Terre Haute, and he turned to the crowd like, ooh. And then the fourth quarter.
And Shannon was at home going,
Oh no. And I know what you were thinking. You're like, because this is what makes LeBron great. Shannon Fry struggled in the first half. Kyle Korver struggled in the first half. But you heard what he said? He says, I like to empower them. I like them to believe that we can do this. And he said, you know what? And I keep telling you, you said LeBron isn't clutch because you define clutch as hitting a shot. I said I want LeBron with the ball in his hands because if you make the right play, it's never the wrong decision. You make the right play, Skip, and you could live with the results.
okay, are you finished?
Take your time. Go ahead. I don't want to talk to him.
You know what? I've got to give you an A for attempting to weasel out of the bet that you made with Nelly because you have no faith in the King. How do you explain that?
Skip.
How could you bet against
This is not
your
about
man?
no.
You should never bet against LeBron James.
Hold on. No. That was not the question about no bet. How impressive was
That's
LeBron?
my question
No.
to you. Are you not going to
No,
answer?
No. Once you answer the question, how impressive was last night's performance, then I can.
Joy, could you ask him a question for me since you are in charge here?
Yes.
Just ask him, why did he bet against the King last night?
Why did you bet against LeBron last night?
Thank you.
It wasn't last night. It has to do with one of the next 2 games.
Oh.
So he won.
So you're going to
there's
bet against him again in the next one?
The bet was already.
Oh.
Nelly said they would sweep. I said they wouldn't.
Okay.
But this was not
Last
about.
night was the
This
night.
was not. Hold on, Skip. This is not about a bet.
Oh.
Joey, can you ask him? Can he answer the question that you said? How impressive was LeBron?
Oh, you did it at the beginning of the segment. How impressive
Hilariously
was LeBron?
impressive.
Yeah.
That's exactly
That's what
what
we
it
started
was.
with.
Now let's get to reality, Shannon Sharpe.
Go ahead.
The Indiana Pacers finished the season 42-40.
What was their home record?
I don't even care. The Indiana Pacers are a clearly troubled, dead-in-the-water basketball team revolving around a quote-unquote leader, a LeBron wannabe named Paul George, who stunk it up again last night and had the audacity after the game to try to throw his teammates again under the bus that LeBron was driving that ran over the Pacers again last night. Did you hear what Paul George said after the game about his team, about the third quarter? Can we just see that quick bite? Take a quick bite out of Paul George, please.
Yeah, I thought early on in the third, I saw it getting out of hand, but again, it comes down to trust. I trust the guys on that floor. But I just thought, I watched it kind of unravel. That's when I should have, stepped in and demanded the ball maybe a little bit more to just to start out. get us moving, get it flowing, get everybody in the rhythm again, engage everybody once again. I did a poor job of that to start that third.
Wait a second. I should have done this and that. He went 0 for 5 in the third quarter and goose-egged. He had no points in the third quarter. He shot no free throws. He did nothing. And now he has the audacity to blame. I trust my teammates, but I should have gotten more involved and demanded the ball. Baloney. You ran from the ball in the third quarter, and the whole thing unraveled predictably because this team is as vulnerable psychologically as any team in the playoffs right now. And what LeBron did was what Ty Lue really did, because LeBron was great, but he should have been great because Paul George didn't even guard him in the second half.
Yes, he did.
Most of the time he did, and they were just switching off.
It was Paul George and Lance Stevenson. He got all 41 of them.
He had CJ.
All 4 of them.
And
41.
Look what Ty Lue did. He just said, I'm going to bench all 4 starters except for LeBron. 4 starters go to the bench. And I'm going to go small, and I'm going to go old, and I'm still going to beat these sorry suckers from Indiana.
Whoa, Skip.
I'm going to go Channing Frye, who's 34 years of age and plays on the perimeter, right? Mm-hmm. And Darren Williams is 32, but feels like he's about 35, right? And Kyle Korver is 36. And then I'll throw Shumpert in there, who's an old 28. He's beat up. He's got one injury after another.
What about 37-year-old LeBron?
The 38-year-old LeBron. And I'm just going to go old and small, and I'm going to run them out of their own gym in the second half. It was stunning that Paul George couldn't take over the game in the third and fourth quarter and slam the door on a team whose starters were benched. Kyrie went 4 for 17 last night, and it didn't matter. Even Kevin Love, he just had no energy. He wasn't into the game last night, and it didn't matter because LeBron said, okay, I'll do this, and 5 Pacers weren't good enough to keep LeBron James from coming back from 25 down at halftime.
And this is why,
that is just sorry.
And this is why LeBron James is the best player, because he never gets involved in hero ball. See, this is what Russell Westbrook, because see, here's what
he did play hero ball. That's all he did in the second half.
What about those 7 assists? Your guy had 2 assists in the second half when he was up.
Who's my guy? Oh, Russell. I thought you meant Kawhi.
Oh, you want to talk about Kawhi?
Yeah, I do want to talk about Kawhi. And you know why I want to talk about Kawhi?
I'm not talking about Kawhi.
Hold on just a second. Kawhi Leonard now in 3 playoff games has shot 32 free throws, and guess how many he's made? 32 free throws. In 3 playoff games, guess what LeBron is? He's 16 for 29. That's 55% after he vowed, remember right before the playoffs started, he was going to be in the upper 80s. He's 55%. Last night, he was 7 for 14. And on the rare night that I was having to root for LeBron James, he was driving me nuts because I'm saying, I even tweeted at one point, come on, LeBron, make a free throw. Just make a free throw.
In 3 playoff,
7 of 14?
In 3 playoff games, LeBron James' record is what, Skip Bayless?
Against the Indiana Pacers. I told you it was going to be a sweep before the series.
Hold on.
They got the biggest break of any team going into the playoffs. They should sweep it. All these games should have been over early, and they've let the Pacers have a halftime lead and come close twice in Cleveland. That's terrible.
Close. If I was dancing, you know, when you're in high school, you go to the dance, Skip. You love when they play those slow songs. You can get real close. Yeah. That's the only time closeness matters. Hold on, Skip. No, Skip. No.
I gotta ask
you gonna let me talk? No, let me talk for just 1 second. LeBron James is 3-0 in the playoffs. They're playing the 7th seed. The San Antonio Spurs are 2-1 playing the 7th seed.
Yeah, they're playing a really tough, skilled basketball team with the most underrated and underpublicized star on that team, and Mike Conley Jr. that you took a shot at the other day. He is a tremendous point guard. Thank you.
Can I interest you in something? Can I interest you in 32.7, 10.7, 9.7? See, you like nice little round numbers.
Can I interest you in the Pacers? Because it doesn't interest me. I'm sorry.
And the Grizzlies do?
Yeah, they're really good.
I tell you what. If they interest you so much, tell the people at home how many segments we talking about San Antonio and Memphis in this show.
We just did. We just did a segment on them. What did I predict before? I said Spurs in 7 games. I said it right here on the show. 7 games.
I refuse to mention from here on out. I refuse to mention Kawhi Leonard's name until he has at least 9 assists in a ball game.
Oh, okay. Well, he's got some championships, and
he got some
head-to-head.
Hold on, when is some
He won in 2013.
Okay, no, you said some.
No, I
some
said
means
2.
more than one.
He won except then Ray Allen.
No.
I give him 2.
No, you
2.
said some.
2.
He has 1.
He has 2.
Oh, what did he do last night?
Well, what's that?
I
told you he was going 7.
He's the best two-way player in basketball.
In Memphis, they lost twice there in the regular season.
Oh,
Memphis.
He's the best two-way player in basketball. LeBron said, if all I had to do was worry about scoring and playing defense, I damn would be the best two-way player. But not only must I score, I got to rebound, I got to assist, and I got to play defense occasionally, and I steal, and I block shots. So, Kawhi, here's this. Take that. 32, 10, and 9.
Against the Pacers. Way to go, LeBron. Thank you.
Okay, what did he do against the
Well, the Cavs will go for the sweep Sunday at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. And with a win on Sunday, LeBron will have the longest first-round winning streak.
I won.
No, you didn't win.
No mercy. Cavs overcame a 25-point halftime deficit in the largest in playoff history.
Do that thing,
to beat the Pacers last night, LeBron had a triple-double with 41 points. In a coach's decision, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love sat the entire fourth quarter. Let's take a listen to LeBron after the game.
I don't know, man. I just try to put myself in position to help my teammates win, and no matter who on the floor with me, I try to empower them. I try to make them better. Try to make them believe that we can be great every night, no matter who's on the floor with me. And for myself, I just don't settle for being not as great as I can be, and it's not gonna result in a stat line like this every night, But my mind is where my mind is. When my mind is fresh and when my mind is in the moment, then sometimes certain things like this happen. So I don't know. I can't even really appreciate it. I'll let you guys kind of write your words about it and go from there. But the only thing that matters is the win, and that's what I'm here for.
We're joined by Chris Broussard. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you.
We need to start doing some outtakes of what goes on.
Yeah, we already had a spirited
in the
discussion.
breaks.
Hey, Chris, before you go, Skip, I mean, you were the great writer, this great playwright, George Orwell, one of these great Pulitzer.
Orwell?
Hello, Skip, hello. This Pulitzer Prize winning. Give me some words. If you was writing a column today about what you saw last night, give me like 2 or 3 words to describe LeBron.
Chris, what did you think of last night?
Yes. Where does this rank? Where does this rank amongst LeBron's greatest performances?
I've been having trouble taking my eyes off that tie.
You like that thing?
First of all.
It's something.
But look, LeBron was incredible last night. I think you even admitted he was fantastic. All right, he showed
After 12
why
hours,
he's
that's
the
all you
best
can come up
player
with,
in the
incredible?
world. No. But there's so many great performances to choose from. This barely cracks his top 10. Barely. I mean, his greatest performance ever, and even you appreciated this one. 2012, Game 6 in Boston, down 3-2, and that was the crossroads of LeBron's career, right?
Yep.
He had stumbled the year before against Dallas.
Yeah, I'd
to
say.
put it kindly,
Yeah.
right? The year before that, he had stumbled again, or before that, against Boston in Cleveland.
And before that against Orlando. But go ahead.
No, he didn't stumble. He was phenomenal that series. He was great. He was great in that one. That was different.
Go ahead.
That was different than Boston and Dallas. And so he hadn't won a championship yet.
No.
You had all the talent with you, Wade and Bosh. If they would have lost that series, I don't know what. I mean, I can't. He's so good. I can't say he wouldn't have, won a title. But who knows?
I agree.
Right.
3 straight years. And so that 45 points, 19 for 26 shooting, 15 rebounds, that was his best. I would rank Detroit 2007, 48 points against a great Detroit team.
That was in the middle of that great run. They'd gone to 5 straight Eastern Conference Finals, back-to-back
You
finals.
still had Rasheed. You had Ben Wallace. You had Chauncey and Rip. And he scored their last 25 points. And who was he going to war with? Drew Gooden, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, Sasha Pavlovich, and Larry Hughes.
Pretty good player.
And so you could just, really?
Yeah.
That makes Russell Westbrook's supporting cast look tremendous.
It does not.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Sorry.
And so they could focus solely on LeBron, and he still delivered. And then I would say games 5, 6, and 7 from last year's finals.
See, now you're cooking.
Right?
See, early on, he was cooking with Pam. In Pam, you don't want that stick. But when you put that Crisco,
You cook with Crisco?
Yeah!
That might be your problem.
Yeah!
Hey, don't diss
gotta
Crisco.
stop it.
We had that Crisco in
And
my
you had it
house.
sitting right on the stove, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
You had it sitting right on the
Sitting there.
stove, didn't you? Yeah. And when you finish with the grease, what you do with it, Chris? Pour it back in the cake.
Save
Put it
it.
right back in the Out! Go, my bag. Go ahead.
That's
Skip
that
it.
Southern living. That's that Southern.
I want to hear yours.
But those, I mean,
Okay, I
so
got it.
this is, it was great, but come on, the stakes, if they lose, they're still up 2-1. He even had a better performance against Indiana in 2012. They're
I
down
agree.
2-1. You know,
He
so this was great, but let's not get caught up in the moment and think this was.
Chris, we're along the same lines. The greatest game, and I don't think he'll ever be able to top this, is Game 6 against Boston in the Boston Garden. Because what people don't realize, the Heat jumped out 2-0. They lost 3 games in a row. And given the fact that what had happened in the Mavs the previous year, and you remember, Skip, that game in Dallas, he had 8 points. And he had shied away from actually shooting the basketball.
J.J. Barea was
you're
guarding.
telling
Right.
me?
So now, I believe if he, Skip, for me, and he might have gone on, but I believe if he had lost that one, his career, maybe his psyche would have been irreparably harmed. So for me, that's the best game. I agree. And it's hard to say one of them, so I took the compilation. You know, when you do music, you have what they call a catalog.
Right.
That's where they put all your stuff together, called masters, and you want to control those, Skip. So this is a master compilation. Games 5, 6, and 7 last year, Skip, because he went 41 and 41, and then he followed up with a triple dub. So
And the block.
because here's the thing, Skip. Each one, and Chris, each one of those games had finality to it if you lost. If you lose game 5, you're done. You lose game 6, you're done. You lose game 7, oh, so he said, nah. He said, I ain't gonna give Skip Bayless. I'm not gonna let Skip dance at my parade. I'm not gonna let him dance at my funeral.
You know what else, when you talk to people around the league, like coaches and scouts, about that game 7 last year, what they rave about is his defense. I mean, in addition to the triple-double, the block, but just throughout the game, the defense that he was playing.
And play it off. And then I still believe game 6, even though everybody
Last
said,
year?
No. Game
2013.
Game
Don't-
6.
don't-
Oh, yeah.
Hold on,
No,
Skip.
that was a great
Hold on, Skip.
Go ahead.
Can I talk to Chris?
Go
You mind
ahead.
if I talk to Chris, Skip, for a second?
Yeah, talk to
Skip,
the
that
audience.
you can't disrespect that game.
I'm disrespectful.
This was, last night was better than that?
No.
Okay. Go ahead.
Triple-double. Although Ray Allen gets credit for the shot, they were down 10. He scored 16. He assists on another 6 points. So that even in game 7, he had 37. But Skip,
No question.
the game that you mentioned this. You remember his first championship in 2012, Indiana. Chris Bosh gets hurt the first game. They win that game, but they lose the next one, game 2. They lose game 3. So now you're about to go down. And he comes out with 40, 18, and 9. So this game last night doesn't crack the top 5 for me.
Okay. So both of you have
does it crack
idolized
your
enough.
top-
It's my turn.
It crack your
It's my
top
turn.
5?
Heck no.
Okay.
Against a 42 and 40 Indiana team that's just psychologically dead in the water with Paul George deflecting blame, pointing fingers at everybody. It's just a sad case of a basketball team. That's
But
not even in.
they weren't psychologically dead yesterday. They are now.
Oh, I think they were going into that game. And then Paul George threw his teammates under the bus again after the game. I should have taken over more in the third quarter. You went 0 for 5. Come on. So here's the point. I do appreciate you both got it right for once, because that game
for
6,
once.
that game 6 in 2012,
Yes.
that was big time because of what had happened against Dallas. That was the worst superstar meltdown I've ever seen. And to have the pressure to go back into the playoffs, even though like Dwayne had been there and done that, so he had his ring.
Yeah.
And Chris Bosh is the third wheel, so nobody really expected Chris to do anything, and he didn't do much in that game. But everybody expected LeBron to either put up or shut up and go away on that night, because that was going to be, you're right, they would have lost 4 straight games to Boston in that series, and to come up, he scored 30 in the first half and just said, no, I'm not going to
over.
allow this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm giving you that one. But number 2 on my list, I'm sorry, even though my Spurs in Game 7 the next year, 2013, were psychologically left for dead by the blunders of Game 6. But for LeBron, I thought he played great in Game 7. And it was still a pretty close game. It wound up 95-88, but he was 37 and 12 in that game and made 5 out of 10 threes. That was big time because statistically he's still the worst three-point shooter in playoff history, but that was a big-time night. Now, my problem with what you talked about, the Detroit game, is that, remember, Antonio McDyess was their rim protector, and he got ejected early in that game. The other rim protector was Rasheed Wallace, and at halftime, if you know the backstory, he went ballistic on the coaching staff and wanted to quit and wound up in the second half with 4 points and 3 rebounds in the second half and 2 overtimes. And the only thing I didn't like about what LeBron did, he had a chance at the end of the first overtime to ice it, to put the game away, and shot an air ball from 22 feet. You go look at the tape. Tell me it's not an air ball. So
that's
again,
fine, but that diminishes what he did
nobody
at
could
the end of
protect
that
the rim.
game?
Nobody could keep him from the rim. And he was tremendous. He scored the last 25 points.
Hey,
and
Chris, you
two
see what he
overtimes.
did there? Now, in Jordan's 63-point performance, he missed the last shot that could have won it in regulation. But Skip will never mention that. And he lost that game.
Are you saying that LeBron is better than Michael
All
Jordan?
I'm saying, all I'm saying
That's all I
is,
want to know.
if he
Is
had,
that what you're saying?
I'm saying Michael Jordan had a chance to win the game against the big three.
Did you see Game 6 at Utah in 1998? Did you see what
You
he did?
keep bringing that up, Skip, but, I mean, that's the only game you bring up for Jordan. Like, when I brought up his pass to Paxson, his pass to Kerr last week, you brought up 98.
We don't have time. Okay, we'll do that next week. We'll do that topic. How many games did Michael come up big in the fourth quarter? And I'll make a list.
He's the GOAT.
Okay,
I mean,
how
I'm
about
not
this,
denying
Chris?
that.
You sorry? You've been covering the game. How many times did Michael Jordan beat the big three in their prime? How many times did he beat the bad boy Pistons in their prime? How many times did he beat the Lakers when they had Magic, Kareem, Worthy in their prime?
How many times do I have to ask you, is LeBron better than Michael Jordan? 3 and 4 in the finals versus 6 and 0. That's all I want to know.
Michael Jordan can't paint anymore on the screen.
Okay.
LeBron is still painting.
He's painting against the Pacers.
Hey,
I
when
hope
they walked into the Sistine Chapel and Michelangelo was still painting, they didn't say,
you know what? Last night was paint by numbers. It was scribbling with crayons. That's what it was.
Channing Frye,
Seriously.
5 teams. Kyle Korver, 5 teams. But you
That was an interesting lineup they had
And
out
you
there.
didn't even do it with your starters.
was
You put a bunch of old little guys in.
But that makes LeBron's
even more
performance that
impressive.
much better, right?
Even more impressive.
Shannon, you're like the
You've been
preacher
saying
in the church
Kyrie's
of
their
LeBron
guy.
today.
What
He's
happened?
4 for 17.
I don't
know.
like
Something's
defending
wrong.
Well,
LeBron.
Kyrie's great.
You
but
know what, Skip?
You
I don't
don't like
defending
defending LeBron?
I don't like defending LeBron, but you make me.
Did I make you wear that bow tie?
Cavs bow tie.
LeBron called me last night and said, hey, don't tell Skip I'm talking, but give him the biz. I said, I got you, bro.
There's no mercy. We're joined now by hip-hop legend, friend of the show, and the man that performs our theme song every morning, Lil Wayne. Welcome back to Undisputed.
Thank you. Thanks for having
What's up, bro?
see you.
You good?
yeah, man.
Thanks for coming back.
Can I tell you why I love and don't love that theme song we just heard? I love it because it is all-time great. I do not love it because every day it gets in my head because we hear it here every day, and I sing it in my head all afternoon. No mercy. I just keep over and over.
Long-
But we do
As long as you sing it in your head and not out loud, we'll be just
You know what?
fine.
That is a fact. That is a fact. Ernestine appreciates it. For sure. Yeah. So, have you gotten feedback about it, or do you have a?
Yeah, I've gotten some feedback. Everybody either like it and everybody mad that I didn't do one for them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Because they ain't got nobody that's sharp dressed like me and cutting up. What you gonna say about them? They
I
ain't
love
cutting
your
up.
time, man.
Say it again. Say it
I
again.
love your time.
Skip, you heard the man.
He's a nice guy who's trying to say a nice thing to you to make you feel better about the time.
No, he said it off camera. I said, well, you need to repeat
did.
that. You need to repeat
You
that.
did. You got it.
Look,
He
Joy.
also said I wasn't fake Apollonia, too.
Yeah.
Nah, you like Sheena Easter, Sheena E. I mean, you one of them.
I'll take any of them. So, Wayne, you're a huge Packers fan, so let's talk about your team. Their schedule was released yesterday, and they opened the season with a big game against the Seahawks on Fox. Aaron Rodgers has been in the spotlight this offseason, mostly because of his breakup with Olivia Munn. Green Bay went 10-6 last year and beat the Giants and the Cowboys in the playoffs before losing to the Falcons in the NFC Championship game. So, Wayne, what do you expect from your Packers in 2017?
I expect a great year, actually. A great season. I expect them to do well. I looked over the schedule. I didn't see too many losers. I didn't see too many losses. Honestly, I saw 14-2.
Really? 14-2.
Yes.
You saw him with those glasses? Can I borrow them? Because I want to be able to see something that you see. I mean, Skip.
Wait, I got to ask. One of those 2 losses Was it at Dallas?
It was.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
thank you for that.
Yes, it
That
was.
will make up for that heartbreak of the playoffs last year.
I think, and that was the reason why I think that they're going to come in there fired up and one of those type of deals.
What y'all gonna do about that defense, though?
Yeah, we always got a good team, bro.
You have a good offense.
We always have a great team. It's whatever you see on paper, that's not what's going to happen on the field.
Well, all I know is the last time I saw y'all guys, this wasn't on no paper. I watched Atlanta run through y'all like 40 going north.
It's all good.
So y'all lost Peppers. Y'all lost Micah Hyde. I mean, so I'm just trying. So who y'all added that you feel comfortable that is going this 14-2? Or you just putting all that on Aaron Rodgers, huh?
We're going to be okay, bro.
Okay.
You know what? They added a better Aaron Rodgers with a clear head. And I do think it's going to clarify his off-field life, that he's gone forward with a new direction, and maybe he's reconciled with his family a little bit because he seems split with them, estranged, if you will. And he came to the mini camp or the OTAs. He said under his former weight, his playing weight last year, he's got a new nutrition schedule going. So I think he's poised to have a big year, a bounce-back year.
You say that maybe she was a distraction or she caused a rift, but the guy had been to 2 of the last 3 NFC Championship games, sprinkled in with an MVP, and he led the league in touchdown passes last year.
Okay.
So how much of a distraction or how much was she actually on his mind?
2015 was, by Aaron Rodgers standards, a really subpar year, where his QBR fell dramatically. It was by far the worst of his career. It was a 64 on a scale of 0 to 100. And they, in 2015, lost to all 3 division opponents at Lambeau Field. And then they started off last year 4-6. And even you were saying, man, that's not Aaron Rodgers.
No,
You
right?
have to also consider the fact, like he said, you have to consider the fact he's going to go out there with a clear head. Not only a clear head, he's probably going to go out there, trying to flex on his ex.
He might.
So
He
you
just
blame
might.
Olivia Munn for? Wait.
I don't blame the woman.
Oh, you blame them. You
I said I don't.
You
I said I
risk
don't.
it.
I
Flex
said
on
I
his
don't.
ex.
He probably just going out there with a clear head and some motivation, just
Yeah.
trying to, just trying to show that maybe you shouldn't.
Well, she might get up one of them Hollywood bowls and flex on him. Now, how you like me?
She probably will try, but that's okay.
Well, one of the big matchups is the Cowboys, and that'll be Week 5 in Dallas at AT&T Stadium, October 8th. Next up, last week, Dez Bryant, speaking of the Cowboys, had a long post on Instagram with his thoughts on race in America. Dez wrote, "First and foremost, I would like to say I do a great job of minding my own business, but it's pressing on my heart to share my thoughts about white Americans and black Americans' racism. I saw a person quote Charles Barkley when he said, 'We as black people, we're never going to be successful, not because of you white people, but because of other black people.' I hate to admit, but I understand that quote. Real question, what is wrong with being sophisticated and black? Why do we associate those who choose the straight and narrow as not being black enough? We focus hard on fighting the realities that exist instead of creating our own reality. The ones that came before us, Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, paved a new path for us to follow. The struggles and hurt they endured created a new life for us today. It's not our job to carry the burden, but it is our job to lead by example." So, Wayne, you actually texted Skip about this conversation that we had last week when we talked about this on the show. So what's your take?
It's interesting. First of all, it's interesting. I guess it shows a different Dez to me, first of all. And within what he said, the mind my own business type of thing, he kind of not minding his business with the statement after that. But, I mean, if you want to look into it, I believe everybody leads by example within themselves. Everybody individually leads their own. I mean, everybody can't be a football player. Everybody can't be successful as him or I or whatever. But if you're trying to motivate someone to do better or whatever it is, you do that to you meet that person and you sit down with them if you think that they need some kind of motivation. I don't think that you can. I mean, if you're looking at, I don't think you're supposed to look at someone and say we're not doing this or we're not doing that, and that this and that is the right thing or right or wrong. I mean, I believe everybody leads by example just by being themselves.
When I commented on his post, he said that I was putting words in his mouth, and what I was trying to do was put facts and knowledge in his mind, because you said it. Everybody can't be a Dez.
Exactly.
Everybody can't be a Lil Wayne. Everybody can't be a prominent African-American figure. Then what? That's what I'm like, okay, This is not conjecture. This is not innuendo. This is not speculation. This is fact. Black, whites commit crimes. Blacks and minorities are more apt to get a harsher sentence than the white counterpart. When the crack, this was before your time, but you heard about it, the crack epidemic that swept through the major cities. They came up with mandatory minimums. If you got caught with this was the minimum amount of time you could do. They came up also with the 3 strikes. So if we caught you 3 times, you're going away for life. Now they have the opiate addiction. They're sweeping through the Rust Belt. And they say punishment, jail, confinement is not the answer. It's about counseling. Because who is it that affecting? So, I don't have a problem. If you want to speak up, read up. Because, look, we don't have to get into Dez past, but he had an incident with his mom. If Dez Bryant could not catch footballs, did not play for the Dallas Cowboys, Wayne, where would Dez have been? So he gets preferential treatment. Dez, that's what I'm trying to get you to understand. There are fewer of us, myself, Shannon Sharpe, Lil Wayne's, and Dez Bryant. We make up a very, very small part of the majority of the African Americans.
Exactly.
If there's 40 million blacks in America, maybe 2,000, 3,000 of them are prominent athletes.
Which is what percent? Like less than 1?
Very less. Because if 10% is 4 million, 1% is what? 400,000.
Exactly.
So it ain't 400,000 black African Americans or people of color, however you want to address it, making millions and millions of dollars in America. So that's all I'm trying to get you to understand. I need you to understand the history, the systemic, and and all I said. I asked him. I said, look, I want you to come on. We want you to come on the show. But before you come on, read the DOJ report about Ferguson, Missouri, Chicago, Illinois, and Baltimore, Maryland, their police department, and how it specifically said these policies was racially motivated to hurt blacks and minorities in this community. And then we can have the honest conversation. That's all I was trying to do. Put facts, thoughts, knowledge in your mind so you can articulate your point a little better. And I said, look, you're quoting someone. I have the utmost respect for Charles when it comes to his basketball games. I think he was a hell of a player. But when it comes to this race thing, then this what's going on in this systemic racism and the history of racism in America with whites and blacks and minorities in America, I ain't quoting Charles Barkley, and I don't want anyone to quote him.
So I appreciate everything you just said, but I'm also with Wayne on the first point, which is what I told you the day after this was posted. And that is, Dez has been, dare I say, immature in his time with the Dallas Cowboys. He seems like he hasn't quite grown up. And this was a big step, I thought, toward just trying to be a man, just trying to have a deeper thought than running a fly pattern, right? Where, as I said to you, the Dez I know or have known in the past would post the top 10 nightclubs in Dallas, Texas, you know, and instead he posted some thoughts that are pressing on my heart, he said. Well, they're baby step thoughts, but he's trying to have a social conscience and a racial conscience, and he's trying to figure it out, but he's doing it on Instagram. So he's doing it right before your very eyes. And he hasn't had to think about these things because he has been a very good football player since he was like 5 years old. So he's been treated very well all the way up the ladder.
Very differently.
And he's been given some leeway others would not have been given. And there have been other incidents other than the incident with his mom in Dallas.
But we don't have to go all in depth with that.
All right, but he's been blessed in a lot of ways. And I feel like there's a part of you that feels like he just doesn't get it because he's a wealthy, famous pro football player, right? And he just, but he's trying to get it, which is why I really wanted him to come and sit where Wayne is sitting right now, just to go back and forth with you, because I think it could be productive.
Hell, he could have came and sat next to Wayne while Wayne was on here, and we could have all discussed it.
Well, that would work too. That might even be better.
The thing is that when you look at race in America, and I was a criminal justice major, so I'm very familiar with this. The criminal justice system is set up, and this is not conjecture again, this is fact. If you're wealthy and you're in the majority, the justice system is like cobwebs. You can brush it aside because the more money you have, the better representation you can get. But when you're indigent and you're a minority, it's treated like shackles. You're held more accountable because a guy that has to go to a public DA is not going to get the same level of justice. Now, it shouldn't be this way, but this is the way it is. You get what you pay for. And since the state is paying for these funded lawyers, they're not going to give me the same representation as Jose Baez. They're not going to give me the same representation as, God rest his soul, Johnny Cochran or Jerry Spence. Or I can't get an appellate lawyer like Alan Dershowitz. I can't hire the innocent. Maybe if I'm lucky, the Innocence Projects will read something that I say and they'll take it pro bono. But more times than not, if you are a minority, if you are African American or a person of color, you're judged entirely different, Dez.
Any final thoughts from you?
It's also like you're telling someone that they're not leading by example. What if that person have kids? A person like me, and like you said, everybody can't rap. So, am I leading by example because I became a rapper? Because I still go through it.
Right.
I just got out of jail. You know what I mean? So I still go through it. So, am I leading by example? Or are you telling me that I'm not? When I have 4 kids, and they all know who Daddy is, and they all know Daddy is great to them, and I'm everything to them. So I'm quite sure everybody else have kids, and they should be the same, and that's leading by example.
No mercy. Breaking news, Chicago Bulls guard Rajon Rondo suffered a fractured right thumb in Game 2 against the Boston Celtics and will be out indefinitely. The Bulls said Rondo's injury will not require surgery. Lil Wayne is still with us. What's your reaction to that?
First, I was asking, I asked Shannon, can he still play with it? But he said probably not. So I'm not sure, man. I'm still in shock about it. I didn't even believe the guy.
Right.
The guy came up. I thought
Is this for real?
Yeah. So
Man,
I
think
Rondo a beast though.
he is a beast, and he's especially a playoff beast. Maybe
Yes.
not a regular season,
Yes.
but I was convinced they were going to get to the conference finals, and that the King was going to have to deal with one Rajon Rondo, and now that sounds like it's off the table.
This changed the dynamic. This makes Boston has to feel good with where
I
they
would
are
say.
now. I know, hey, we're down 0-2, but Rajon Rondo is the engine that makes this thing go. Jimmy Butler's been fantastic. D. Wade, this last game was fantastic. But if you look at Rondo, the way he's controlling the tempo of the game, he's doing a very good job on Isaiah Thomas also because he's bothering him with his length. But he's getting 14 assists. He's getting 7 assists. He's controlling the game. This changes this dynamic, Skip. I would be surprised if Boston doesn't get back.
Bothering him with his words.
Yeah.
Well, the Celtics got obviously a horrible, tragic break with the death of the younger sister of Isaiah Thomas. And I think it seemed to affect the team as much as it affected Isaiah.
Yes.
Because Isaiah was great in the first game, and then it sort of maybe sunk in, and he just sort of hit him that, wow.
He went
this
7
is
of 13 from the free throw line.
Right.
He was second in the NBA in free throw percentage.
I think this whole series is about to flip, and I'm not going to be surprised now, especially if he's out. I don't know what indefinitely means, but if he's going to miss these 2 games, I'm going to give Boston a real good chance of winning both these games and going back 2-2 to Boston.
It's funny how it's reported that he broke it or fractured it in Game 2, and he continued to play and play well. It was like, man, my thumb's bothering me a little bit. Probably went and got an X-ray and saw the crack in it. It's funny how that works. Because when the thing is, Skip, when you're in the moment, that adrenaline is pumping. And then all of a sudden, when that thing comes down, you're like, man, what's going on? And that's probably what happened. So they'll probably put a cast on it for a week or so and probably reevaluate him again another probably 3 to 5 days.
So give us a quick thought. Westbrook, Harden, MVP, regular season.
Westbrook.
Good. Just look at him and tell him. Yeah? Because of what?
I don't know what they're gonna say about it, but I've never in my life seen someone average a triple-double. And if it's about the teams, then of course it's Harden. Harden went crazy. Yeah. Of course, and he's gonna get an MVP, 1 million MVPs, but you have to acknowledge what Russell did. Come on, please.
Come on, please.
Please.
Harden. The man shooting.
Harden is my brother.
I don't know if this is a real number, but he shoots the ball 50, 11 times. Is that a real number? But he shoots a lot. He get little cheap rebounds. That's what Daryl Morey said. And the assists, when they win and he get an assist, he make every everybody's better. They lose, and all of a sudden, oh, he don't have anybody to play with. Look what LeBron did last night. You saw that, didn't you?
We don't want to talk about LeBron.
What'd you think? When you saw it, what'd you think? You want to write a beat to it. You put some bars to it, didn't you, Wayne? Tell the truth, Wayne. Tell Skip right now you put bars to what he did last night.
He was composing about Russell's MVP last night.
Exactly.
Well, you need to
Get
put
on
some bars
board,
to that.
Shannon. Check right after the show. Check out Skip and Wayne on Facebook Live. They'll be on at 11:40 Eastern
rubbing
time.
that new heat?
You can go to the Undisputed's Facebook page and check that out. Lil Wayne, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank
and
you.
of course,
Thanks
thanks
for
again
having me.
always
I need that
for No
hookup, man.
Mercy.
You send me the fresh music first so I can play it.
No mercy. The NFL schedule was released yesterday. The defending NFC East champion Cowboys will open at home for the third year straight on a Sunday night against the Giants. Let's take a look at the whole schedule. The Cowboys will play 6 teams that made the playoffs last year, including the Packers, Falcons, Seahawks, Chiefs, and Raiders. And Dallas ends the season in Philadelphia.
Mention the Broncos, Joy. Don't act like you didn't see that up there.
I will.
Put
At
some
Denver.
spec on our name.
At Denver. Go ahead.
At Denver, you feel okay about that?
Yeah.
You're right? You're going to be okay?
I'm better
You
now.
can calm down? You can start claiming Tim Tebow if you're going to flip out about that.
Oh, no, stop it, Joy.
Skip, what is your – you won a playoff game. Skip, what's your prediction for the Cowboys?
Yeah, what's your prediction, Skip?
I got to admit, right now, just off top of head, this looks like a hellaciously hard schedule to me. Given all the holes remaining on defense for my Dallas Cowboys, I don't have any idea how those holes will be plugged. In the draft, will they land a defensive end starter and a safety starter and a corner starter, or will they trade for Richard Sherman? I don't know. But right now, I look at Denver. You happy?
Yep.
Okay. At Arizona, at Atlanta, at Oakland, with home games against Aaron Rodgers, Kansas City, Seattle, and that all on top of all those NFC East home and away games.
And the Rams' defense will be much improved under Wade Phillips.
I'll give you that. I'm taking that one as a W right now.
Okay.
But here's the point about doing this, and I've done this many, many years on national TV. It's April the 21st, and invariably we will look at these schedules and say, uh-oh, or gimme, and it'll be the upside down. By the end of the year, we'll look back. A year from today, you'll look back and say, wow, I didn't know they were going to be that good. I didn't know they were going to be that bad, right?
Correct. That's
Because
correct.
1 year ago, I looked at last year's Dallas Cowboys schedule, and I saw Cincinnati, at Green Bay, at Pittsburgh, Baltimore, at Minnesota, and I thought, Lord have mercy, that's hellacious hard. And guess what? Those games I just named became part of an 11-game winning streak by a fourth-round rookie quarterback. Were they, all those teams, a little worse than I thought they were going to be? Maybe so. You could argue that. Dallas became better with Dak Prescott than I thought it was going to be, even though I loved the Cowboys before the season started. But the Cowboys do have one advantage before I get to their schedule. On paper, the best team in the NFC East right now, we both agree, is the New York Football Giants,
Correct.
right? Do you realize the New York Giants drew the short straw here because they have to play 4 teams coming off a bye? 4 times they have to play a team that's going to have 2 weeks to get ready for them. That's advantage Dallas, I would say, because it's going to be Dallas versus Giants for the top of the East. So I'm going to give the Cowboys a slight advantage there. But now, depending on how those holes are plugged in the defense, I'm going to be conservative on April the 21st. I'm going to say that Dallas will have the best offense in pro football, and I hope that mostly it can cover for a below-average defense as it did last year. So right here, right now, on April 21st, I'm going to go Dallas 11-5. I'm going to say objectively they're going to lose 5 games. My 5 losses are, I'm going to give you at Denver. I think it's tough coming off the big Giants Sunday night game, big emotional opener at home.
Yep.
I say they're going to win that game and get some revenge over Eli's Giants. And I remind you, they won 2 years ago on opening night there. Romo pulled off a walk-off pass to Jason Witt. Remember that? From 11 yards out. It was 27-26.
Tom calls for making those terrible calls, throwing the ball, stopping the clock.
He did. But now the Cowboys have lost their last 3 to the Giants, including both Dak games last year, 20-19 and 10-7 up at the Giants. Remember with the wet football, which Dak could not throw the way Eli could throw it.
Glad Eli was in the phone booth.
But I will also remind you that before the 3 in a row that the Giants have won, they had beaten the Eli and company 5 straight games. So these things can swing back and forth. So I'm going to say Cowboys get revenge on opening Sunday night at Jerry World, and then they go to Denver and they lose to Denver. And the other losses, I'll say they'll lose at Washington. They've been really good against Kirk Cousins, but surely he can beat them once at home, which he has had a hard time doing. And then at Atlanta, I think it'll be potentially a shootout, and I'm going to give Matt Ryan that game. And then at the Giants, I'll say they split this year. So I'll give the Giants their game at home, and then the closing game is at Eagles. And I'm going to give the Eagles one because I do respect what they did have on defense, and I think they'll be a little better since they've added a couple of receivers, a couple of weapons for Carson Wentz. So I'll give them their home game. So I'll say the Cowboys lose their 3 road division games to go 11-5, and I still think it will be good enough to win the NFC East.
Well, Skip, the number one thing that I say that always, when it comes to rookies and teams, the number one thing that gets in the way is what? Expectations. The expectations were lowered last year because when Tony Romo got hurt, they were going to turn to a rookie quarterback. No one saw that he would be able to play as well as he did.
Yep.
And not only did he play well, he played great. There were games that he played great. Now the expectations are to play that way game in and game out moving forward. You are the unquestioned starting quarterback of this football team. You are one of the leaders of the team. I would not be surprised that in his second year, he doesn't have one of those C's on his jersey. So expectations are going to be amped up.
Okay.
And the teams are going to come out. I believe they've had an entire offseason to study Dak Prescott, to study this offense and the way Scott Linehan likes to call plays. It's always difficult. So we're going to see if Dak Prescott will have a sophomore slump. The defense, I agree with you there, Skip. They haven't made any moves on defense. You lost your 4 starting defensive backs. You lost Jack Crawford, and you haven't replaced those guys.
Nolan Carroll.
Christmas Carroll. And when you haven't replaced those guys, do I believe that they can go in the draft and find 3 guys that'll be starters on that defense? I do not. Now,
I agree. That's a tough.
Now, maybe if you're willing to part ways with that 28 pick for, say, a Richard Sherman.
I agree.
Maybe you call New England about Malcolm Butler.
Maybe.
See if you can get, see if they want to let him go. I got the Giants. We agree. We talked about this earlier. I think the Giants, because their defense comes back intact, and I think the upgrade of Brandon Marshall over Victor Cruz, I think this makes them formidable, because they have a guy that not only can play inside, he can play outside the numbers. Because last year they had basically all the same guys. The only guy that was really effective outside the numbers was Odell Beckham.
Sure.
And that's because he's so immensely talented. But Sterling Shepard, Victor Cruz were basically, slot receivers, and when they got outside, they were kind of out of their elements. And so Victor Cruz is a substantial upgrade. Brandon Marshall is a substantial upgrade over Victor Cruz. Now, we don't know quite yet what they're going to do at the running back position. Are they looking in the draft? Are they going to kick the tires again on Adrian Peterson?
Maybe.
We don't know. But there are some backs in this draft that can be had. Maybe you go running back in the first round. Maybe you wait till the second round and maybe pick up a Dalvin Cook or Alvin Kamara or someone like that.
Would they go Joe Mixon? They might.
Maybe Joe Mixon. There's no question in my mind that Fournette and McCaffrey would definitely be off the board by the time the Giants pick. And so I don't think they'll be available. Skip, looking at their schedule, woo, that's a smoker. Playoff team. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4, 5 playoff teams, 6 playoff teams. 10-6.
10-6.
10-6.
Boy, I thought you were going to be worse than that.
No, I mean, I was leaning towards 9-7, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They're not winning the division, and they're not getting to 11 wins. We can go ahead and bet some due on that right now.
Really?
We can bet some due on that right now.
Can I wait till after the draft?
No, I don't even see the draft.
Oh, well, you got me kind of
go
stuck
ahead.
in the corner here on this
Well,
one, right?
well, if
Can I wait and see what they do in the draft?
Well, if they trade for J.J. Watt or Richard Sherman, then, hey, have at it. But the bet is still the same. 10-6 is best they're going to do, and we got some due on that.
Okay. All right, I'll do that. 'Cause I was watching NFL Network last night, watching the schedules come out. My man Heath Evans, Heath, did you ever cross his path? He went 8-8 for Dallas. So I'll bet him a case of dew on that right now. So
I said
got you. Heath.
9-7, 10-6. 10-6 is best. It's the best. And then guess what? They come crumbling back down. You won't be making no more commercial with Mo Chestnut talking about, oh, Dak is now the unquestioned leader and blah, da, 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 da. All comes
Are you predicting that Romo will come back out of the booth to save the day or try?
No, I think Romo's done. He's upset at Jerry.
Yeah, that Kansas City game, that would be the ones about midway through the year. Romo's going to do that game for CBS.
He's going to call two Cowboys games.
So maybe if they plummet at that point, what could they be? I don't know how many games that is, like 4-4. Maybe Jerry says, "Hey, you." Right?
7. That'd be 7. No, I don't know, Skip.
No.
I don't think. I mean, I think there's a 1% chance. There's always a chance because the uncertainty of he thinks that he left something there. But Skip, if he didn't train properly when football was his primary occupation, what the hell is he going to do now when he's up in the booth?
I agree.
And he don't have to. The only competition is standing next to Jim Nance for 3 hours game.
You got
day.
it.
So
eating that meat buffet, maybe.
Yeah.
Right?
So he doesn't strike me as a guy that's going to watch what he eats.
I would agree.
And train. And possibly, if they call, I need to be ready. He doesn't strike me as a fireman type guy, Skip. You got to be ready on a moment's notice. He doesn't strike me as one of those guys. I could
Plus,
be wrong.
bottom line, we do not need Tony Romo any longer because we got Dak, and Dak will have no sophomore slump.
Hold on. What is this we?
Huh?
What is this we?
You do it, so I decided I could do it.
No, you told me I
You
couldn't.
were singing the Cowboys' praises yesterday.
No, you told me I couldn't do we. I said we the Cavs.
You never said couldn't.
We
just tease you when you do.
No mercy.
This is the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast, where we're delivering you an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the biggest topics of the day's show. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, like us on Facebook at Undisputed on FS1, follow on Twitter at Undisputed, and catch us at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, Monday through Friday on FS1. You can find us on channel 219 on DirecTV, 150 on Dish. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. That's it for us today. We had some great guests all week. You can go on iTunes and download this podcast and listen to all the episodes if you missed any. Have a great weekend and play some Prince on this Purple Friday, and we'll see you on Monday.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.